both ways from Macca. James Clare had 5 tackle busts and 172 metres. For Wigan, Tom Davies, ever impressive. A fantastic solo try that he scored from the halfway line, 125 metres for him. Sam Tompkins with a try assist, 8 tackle busts and 2 clean breaks. Ben Flower, 106 metres. Willie Iso, 104 metres.
Yeah, so good stuff for that one.
One final game to talk about from the weekend. I'm going to level things with you. I've searched for highlights of this and I've not found any. It was Wakefield 44, Widnes 22 in the end. It was a 22-all second half because it was 22-0 to Trin after the first half. 4,589 turned up on Sunday afternoon when apparently everyone can go and watch rugby league, so I don't understand why there's less than 5,000. Liam Moore was I suppose the England game was on, weren't it, a bit before?
Yeah, I don't.
Did they do out? Did they show it in the ground or anything like that to build up to it?
I've no idea. I was in Denver.
That's the point. Liam Moore was the referee. It looks as though my mate Bill Tupou and Reece Lynn got big stats, big mentions, big scores in this game, exciting tries by all accounts. These two have to be in the conversation for the dream team come the end of the year. Percival's going to get one of the centre spots based on current form. Which one of your two centres do you think will get the other spot? Because I can't see outside of them.
Yeah, both of them are actually really good, and I was really pleased when Reece Lynn got selected in that night's training squad.
Yeah,
I've always liked him for, he's been there for quite a few years actually now at Wakey.
Well, it feels like it's been around forever because he made his debut at Hull when he was only 16.
He did, yeah, and then he came to us. They obviously didn't fancy him at that stage, and he's had a few errors, but he's becoming much more sort of dynamic in attack and he's becoming much more stable in defence. And Bill Tupou is just one of those players who's he's a sort of big guy, but he's quick as well, and there isn't a lot gets through him.
He's got a great offload as well, hasn't he?
He has,
great handoff.
But I think we started. So I listened to bits of this on the radio.
Yep.
And I forgot that it was on because it was 8:00 Sunday morning, I think it was, and I saw a tweet from Gary Carter, and they'd had a big splash in the Sunday Sun about Tom Johnson, which is based on Harry Potter or something like that. But anyway, they got him dressed up in a gown and with a wand in his hand. I don't know if presumably they photoshopped it. I don't know. But that then reminded me the match was on, and so and it was pretty nip and tuck to start for about that sort of first sort of 15 minutes or so. And then Tom,
yeah, of course, 17 minutes when the first try was.
Yeah, and that sounded like an absolutely brilliant try. I know like local radio, they always get a bit excited, don't they, with it? And then almost instantly straight after, Ben Jones Bishop scored one down the other wing. So that sort of sounded really good. And then we sort of seemed to take it on from there.
Yeah, I mean it blew out to 32-4 at one point within the hour. So obviously game over at that point. Cue on the rack time for the Trin because Mrs. Gerard got a try, Ryan Ince got a try, Danny Walker got a try. So the that's where the evening up of the scoreboard did. But looks like Wakefield finished strong in the last 10 minutes as well with 2 more tries just to pad that scoreline out to probably reflect more how the game overall was, because conceding 22 points must be a bit of a disappointment when it was that clearly one-sided.
Yeah, and I think we also didn't we lose Danny Kerman after a couple of minutes or so. I seem to think he went off really early.
He did go off early in the piece, yeah, and played with 16 for most of 77 minutes. Chester said he played with 16 men for.
Yeah.
Similar to what.
And what I was really pleased about this was that Ryan Hampshire's getting a bit of a long run at sort of in the halves. Him and Miller.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not actually. My thoughts on him as a halfback, but it's starting to prove me wrong, which is pleasing from that point of view, because he's a talented young kid if he gets it all together.
Yeah. And I'm not actually quite sure what's happened to Liam Finn. I don't know if he's injured or something. He's just sort of. I'm assuming he is, because he's always been pretty. But both him and Scott Griggs was
polishing up his plumbing tools or whatever because he'll be back on the tools next year.
But him and Scott Griggs, the sort of 2 Irish internationals seem to have disappeared at the same time. So I don't know what's happened to him, but I'm really pleased that Hampshire's got a bit of a run, and he seems to be doing some stuff. I'm the jury's still out as far as I'm concerned on him. But I'm really pleased, and I'd love to see him make it. Because he was a kid. I used to coach against him. He was in the same age group that the team that I played. So it'd be really good because he was always seen as a sort of real star of that sort of Normanton team that he played for.
He was absolutely exhilarating in our under-19s as well. I mean, him and Williams just it wasn't even fair.
Yeah.
Like the pace and the skill and the fact that they're both quite similar in terms of they can't control the game, but what they're very, very good at is slightly different, and that was the great thing about it. Like Hampshire's got a better passing game and much more pace than Williams has got, but Williams has got a better step, a better offloading game, and the two of them together, it was just like you didn't know what to do as the other under-19 side against the two of them. They were just so electric and stuff. So it is great to see that he is finally finding a place. I just hope he matures as well with that and doesn't let it get to his head. I hope he goes along steadily with this because, like you say, great talent and lost his way.
He must think, because you can imagine when you're, when you're 12 or 13 and you get signed by Leeds or you're picked by Leeds, and that's by Wigan, and that's where you go, and it's got to have an impact on your top thing, particularly because it's a bit of a trek as well, isn't it? So you're making that long journey to whatever sort of training schedule that they've got. But I imagine, Wakey's not the sort of club. It'd be difficult to get above yourself, wouldn't it, at Wakey? Do you know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
And so I think that it probably keeps players a bit more grounded, and I think that's probably what he needs. And he must be thinking, this must be last chance saloon. He's been to the big club, hasn't he? He's been to Wigan, he's been to Cass, who are a bigger club than Wakey. Now he's come to Wakey, and he must be thinking, well, where am I going to go after this? Salford or something. Yeah, you don't want to go to Dewsbury, do you? So hopefully that I would love to see him come good. But that result for Widnes, that's I don't know what their approach is now. Do they do like sort of Wakey did in the first year of the Eights, where they sort of sack it off now and then you just rest people up, prepare for the Eights, and say, our focus is winning that £1 million game.
I don't even know how many bodies they've got to rest people up. I mean, they keep getting people suspended, they keep getting people injured. That's a bit up in the air, but I certainly think they need to keep their squad fresh because there's no possibility of them bringing people in, whereas everyone they're going to be up against, if there's a player on the market, everyone pretty much other than Salford will be looking to bring them in. Hull KR have already shown that they're willing to jump into the transfer market. I'm sure Catalan, Huddersfield or Leeds won't be shy in making sure they've got what they need, and Leeds have got everything they need anyway. They won a grand final last year. And Toronto are spending. Toulouse are bringing people in on loan. They've extended Joe Brereton now through to the end of the season. And Lee or London, whoever that might be, I'm sure they'll be looking around, sniffing around what there is to pick up as well. So they need to make sure they've got a fit and fresh squad for that. Because basically they need 5 wins from 5 now and need Leeds or Huddersfield and Catalans and Salford to not win again to stand any chance of not being in the eights in the qualifying eights.
Yeah, so if you think 5 games to go and they're only 1 point off absolute certain finishing in that, aren't they? So yeah. Go.
But that win does give Trent a bit of cushion between that bottom, the last place in the eights race. Okay, stats were hugely in Wakey's favour. Over 300 more metres at 1.5 metres per carry better average gain for 5 more breaks and 4 more tries. Trin also tackled at 5.5% better team tackle success rate. The only key stat that Widnes had a higher number in was one you don't want that to be. It was errors with 10 to 6. So convincing stuff. Individually, Bill Tupu, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 6 tackle busts, 150 metres and 2 clean breaks. Reece Lynn, 2 tries, 6 tackle busts, 151 metres, 2 clean breaks. So separate those two how you want to. Tinarawa Rona got a try in 110 metres, and Tom Johnston a try, 7 tackle busts, 151 metres, 2 clean breaks. For the losing Widnes Viking side, no one hit any of the key trigger points to get in the stats roundup, I'm afraid. So disappointing one from them. For in terms of predictions, Super Roo Dream Teams, etc., I went 4 out of 5 last week with the rep games thrown in, and it was Tim for the co-host went 3 out of 5, so that gives me a slight 75 over 74 edge in that, so I'm very pleased how that fell.
Yeah, okay, I'll see if hopefully I won't let all my fellow co-hosts down today.
Okay, we're now going to move on to the other results section. Okay, other results now, and for this week it's sponsored by Dom's Toy Shop on eBay. Head to Dom's Toy Shop on eBay, where you'll find lower prices and superior banter that leaves any competitors looking like a small-time club. When it comes to the final reckoning, Dom's Toy Shop on eBay will beat the competition. Okay, and into the championship. Rattle through these because we haven't had much in from anyone. It was round 18 of the championship, and it was the top 6 against the bottom 6, and it went the way we were all expecting. It was Sheffield 6, Featherstone 40, with Luke Briscoe dual-regging on loan, dual-reg thing. Toronto 64, Barrow nil in kind of sloppy conditions, with Barrow only having 14 men over and losing the 14th of those men in the first set of the game. So good to them to keep it so low, arguably. It was London 58, Swinton 22. Notable for Swinton from Wigan fans' perspective is young Joe Brown. The winger scored a hat-trick in that defeat there. Rochdale 14, Toulouse 70. Big win on the road for Toulouse. Really impressive stuff from them. Halifax 50, Batley 12, Dewsbury 12, Lee 58. So, I mean, when you look at those scores, all handsome wins for the top 6 over the bottom 6. It's a huge difference in points difference and performance levels and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that means the Wolfpack stay top. They're on 33.7 clear of their nearest chasers in Toulouse and Featherstone, who are on 26 points. Halifax stay 4th on 25. London and Lee on 24 points still sit just outside. That top 6 heavily beat a member each of the following bottom 6, which line up as Batley, Barrow, Sheffield, Dewsbury, Swinton and Rochdale.
Yeah, and when you look at that, you see there's 10 points gap, aren't there, between 6th and 7th. So Lee and 6th are on 24 points, and then Batley next on 14. And I don't necessarily see that as a problem. I know, I've heard a few things of people talking. I think, Phil Catlin talks about it as a sort of glass ceiling that's, but that's just sport, isn't it? What you've now got is you've got 6 teams in the division below Super League who you would say any one of those have got a fair chance of picking up some results against whoever might fall in the bottom 4. Whereas when the Super 8 started, it sort of wasn't like that, was it? People go, well, no team from the Championship can get promoted yet. People are now talking about, all 4. I mean, that's not going to happen. But there's a real, nobody would be surprised if one of those teams from the Championship got promoted, and people would not be hugely surprised if 2 of them,
I
did
think
it.
There's a strong chance of 2 this year, and the split thing. I mean, you've still got a couple of semi-pro clubs in Featherstone and Halifax showing that it can be done. London and Toulouse aren't operating on the same budgets as Lee and Toronto are by any stretch, and they're still showing what can be done. London showing it through bringing through their youth teams and their own players, and supplementing that with a few bits of experience here and there, and some great coaching that they're getting down there, which help the full-time environment that they play and helps with that. But I think what we've got to be is not be too precious about the other 6.
Yeah.
Because one of them's going, and the Bradford Bulls will make that 6 or 7 for next year. In all sort of way of thinking. And if other clubs that are outperforming some of these Championship clubs off the field, people like York and Newcastle, if they can get things together and go up as well, one of those could go up. York very much in the driving seat for that. These other clubs in the Championship can't be precious about who they are and where they're sat, because they're clearly not getting it right. They're drawing small crowds. They're not bringing through their own players necessarily on a huge level. There's financial struggles around and struggles getting the right ground set up and that sort of stuff for people. It's getting just players in bodies into the squad, like the Barrow situation. I mean, they had 15 at Fev last week, 14 at the Wolfpack this week, and it's concerning, but I don't really think the clubs that want to push themselves and perform should be criticised and held back because of it.
Yeah, and absolutely, and as much as I've got no time for Ian Lenihan, the stuff around Rob Elston and leading on the Super League, I sort of support that. What we can't have is the game held back by us worrying about, Dewsbury and Swinton and whatnot. We've got to be realistic. Those clubs are not going to be major players in World Rugby League. You know, it is just not going to happen. But they've got a place, you know, within their community.